exercises to do right before a ballet class. I usually like to warm up at least 5 to 10 minutes before barre. I feel like my body just works a little bit more efficiently. You can grab either a mat or a blanket, something to just give your body a little bit of cushion. And just find a comfortable seated position wherever you are. I like to start with my neck. Just start taking nice slow neck circles. Maybe if you find a tight spot, you stay here. Now I'll come back to the center and I'll grab onto one wrist and lean away from the wrist that I'm holding onto to stretch the side body. Helps to keep the hips grounded, but don't feel like you need to. If you maybe need to lift the hip a little bit, that's fine. Come back to center, lean to the other side and grab onto the opposite wrist. And back to center and release. And don't forget about your shoulders. So lift those shoulders up towards the ears, all the way down. Maybe you'd like to even involve the whole arm. Might as well. Take with me. And then bring the shoulders forward. Open the back. Try to just relax the fingers. That's usually something I do as well, is just really relax the fingers so there's no tension in your fingers. Shake it out, get the blood flowing. If you have a foam roller, either short or long, now is the time to grab your foam roller. Place your foam roller right underneath your shoulder blades. This is to warm up the back. I like to place my hands right at the base of my skull, maybe clasp the hands together for a little bit more support. You'll bring the elbows in. Then as you open your elbows, find a little back bend here. Open the chest. Open the shoulders. Maybe you come all the way down, you don't need to. Then bring the elbows back in. You are using your core to come back up, soften your ribs. And you can repeat this 5 to 10 times. As dancers, our feet are so important. Warming up your feet before class is a necessity, I think. I like to stretch my feet by placing my toes flat down, heels lifted, and sitting on my heels. Now try to make sure your toes are flat. I just like to rest on my heels, give the backs of my feet a little bit of a stretch. And you can just hold here for maybe 30 seconds. Maybe even shift forward a little bit. If you have a small, somewhat hard ball, you can place your ball right underneath your arch, often really tight, especially if you're a dancer. And I just like to go over my inner arch, my outer arch, right underneath my metatarsals. Even deeper, you can stand up and do this. Sometimes I like to point and flex, and point and flex. If you have a TheraBand, go ahead and grab your TheraBand now. I like to keep my TheraBand tied. It's just a little bit easier and I use it this way. Place your TheraBand right underneath your metatarsals. You'll start in a flex position. And you'll find a half point and point. Try to lengthen the toes. Then keep the resistance by pulling on your TheraBand. Find your half point. Resist as you come all the way back to flex. So you're really using your shins and your calves as you point. Another great exercise would be to bring the TheraBand a little bit lower. You'll point your foot and bring the TheraBand over to the inside of your foot. You'll use your other foot as an anchor. Try to keep the toes lengthened. As you bring your ankle over to the outside, then nice and slow back to center. You're working here on the strength of the outside of your leg. And this can also be done coming inwards. You'll bring your TheraBand to the outside of your foot. The other foot will anchor. Now, naturally you'll want to turn out. Try to keep the leg and the foot parallel by activating your inner thigh. You'll bring the ankle inwards and slowly back to center. And in and back to center. Working on balancing your calf, strengthening both the inside and the outside. Alright, now I'll go through a few leg and hip strengtheners. First, coming on to hands and knees, you'll find plank pose. Hands are right underneath the shoulders, feet are in line with your hips. Try to keep those hips low and the lower belly is pulled up towards the ceiling. The chest is opened and the neck is in line with your body. Now usually I like to stay here for at least 30 seconds to maybe a minute. And if you feel yourself getting tired, you can lower your knees, but try to bring those knees back up, really strengthening the core. Pushing away from the ground with your arms and lengthening your heels back. Another exercise I like to do is a bridge. You'll scoop the heels in, bring the feet a little bit wider than the hips. Find parallel legs and feet. Hands will be by your hips and you're looking straight up towards the ceiling. Shoulders are opened. You'll push down into your feet and lift your hips nice and slow all the way up towards the ceiling. Try to activate both your glutes and your hamstrings. And pull your knees away from you. Now maybe you'd like to scoot your shoulders a little bit more underneath you to get a little bit more height in the hips. Strengthening here the backs of your legs and opening your hips. Nice and slow, roll all the way down, shoulders, middle back, lower back, then hips. Try to feel like you're still connecting your inner thighs even though they aren't touching. And now maybe you'd like to add a little challenge and lift the heels. Then slowly come all the way back down. Sometimes I'd like to add the arms. You'll feel more openness in the chest. My ribs are out a little bit here. Soften your ribs. Slowly lower all the way down. Coordinate arms with legs. And I'd like to bring my knees in towards my chest. Give them a little shake. Maybe you'd like to take a little twist here. The last part of my warm-up routine is stretching my hips because I usually like to be a little bit more warmed before I start stretching. I'll take a low lunge. I like to be on the ball of my back foot. And I'll just slowly shift forward, still working on keeping my knee in line with my ankle. And then I'll shift back onto my hips, flex my front foot and pull the hip back, stretch forward, and just shift forward again, finding a little bit more movement, getting ready for bar. Stretching my hamstring here, stretching my psoas. As I lunge, a few more times, shifting forward and back. And then we'll change legs. And I'm trying to keep my chest up here. Working on my posture always. to a seated position. Bring my feet together. We all know this butterfly, especially if you start a dance at a young age. And I'll just walk my hands forward, open my hips, try to bring my forehead down to the floor. And that's all. Thank you for tuning in to JillyFit. I hope you can use some of these exercises the next time you get ready for ballet class. See you next time.